everyone to Movement Yoga Morning Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. I'm practicing in front of our Christmas tree. Adjust that a little bit. Put the tree on the side. Move this guy over a little bit. All right. I think this works. Let's see. Do one more. So we'll be joined shortly by Kathy Cormier. She's out walking one of the dogs that we dog sit, Tazzy. She's a love. She'll probably pop on screen at a certain point. But anyway, yeah. So feel free to put anything that you'd like to work on in the comment section. I do look at the comments, and I'll try to welcome everybody when they arrive. So let's get going. I'll invite you to come to the top of your yoga space, whatever that means. If you're working with a mat, the top of your mat. If you're not working with a mat, then wherever you or whatever you're choosing to work on. Finding our feet, I'll invite you to bring your hands to your hips and just rocking it from side to side, just finding our feet, lifting up one foot and then lifting up the other. Maybe give those legs a little shake. And then from a bigger movement, I'll invite you to start to dial it in as we start to gently rock side to side, staying grounded through the feet. And then finding your center vis-a-vis side to side. Now I'll invite you to start to rock it forward to back, lifting up the heels and then lifting up the toes. Keeping the knees a little bit soft as we keep our balance. And then letting that bigger motion, we'll start to dial it in, staying grounded through the heels and grounded through the toes, still rocking it forward to back. And then finding your center vis-a-vis forward to back. One more exercise to find our feet, keeping the knees relatively still as we rotate the circumference of our feet. This is also an excellent way to connect with our center as we start to activate our center to keep our balance, and then taking those circles the other way. And then finding the center of your foot. From your feet, drawing the energy up through the legs, into the spine. Relax shoulders tall through the crown. I'm going to adjust a little bit here so I'm center in frame. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin. Soft face, soft eyes. And watching as our breath flows in and out. Arriving here on our yoga mats. And if you want to still keep a little movement, go for it. Be rocking side to side, forward to back, keeping those shoulders relaxed. From a place of just watching our breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, finding a long, slow inhalation in, followed by an equally long, slow exhalation out. As we breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals, drawing the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for our low back with that abdominal engagement on the exhalation. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards the go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Last two details before we start to connect breath to movement. I'll invite you to take the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. So let's start with a breath exercise. I'm going to invite Kathy to come onto the mat. And I'll go behind camera. So knees are soft here. We'll work with our fire breath here. I want to get you in the center of the mat. So once you go center of the mat, and I'll adjust the camera. And the only problem is that you're kind of right with the tree there. So
That's okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I actually like that for the framing. So
Okay, cool. All right. So working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through our nose as we inhale, arms up in front. On the exhale, hands back as we bend the knees. Couple more. And then back to center. I'll invite you to step or jump on in. Leaving our fire breath, coming back to our Ujjayi breath as we inhale the arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, hands back down. 2 more times like this. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms back down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms back down. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kath, and at home stay just as you are. Inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you find a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, folding again. Hands can catch the back of the shins to traction yourself deeper. Inhaling, leading with the back of the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching as we fold again. Inhaling right into breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Last one, breathing in, lifting up, at least today. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to arc. On the exhale, arching. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation A. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching and then grounding on down, and I will not cue vinyasa. I'll invite you to find your down dog. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other. Yeah, adjusting yourself in the frame if necessary. And just walking your dog side to side, seeing how your body feels this morning. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From a place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards relative stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first, however, I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you fold, grounding on down, elbows soft as you find a push-up with or without the knees. Inhaling into a back bend, either cobra or up dog. And then either using the knees or rolling over the toes as you stretch it back to down dog. And again, holding down dog, either holding in stillness, just seeing what arises, or maybe walking the dog, stirring it up. Again, just checking it out, what feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. Welcome, Claudia. Welcome, John. Merry Christmas to you. From a place of movement, moving back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salutation A. We'll throw a moving plank into the mix. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching and grounding on down. And making your way back to down dog, either stretching straight back or cycling through yoga push-up, chaturanga, with or without the knees. Inhaling either into cobra, hips stay down, or lifting the hips up for your up dog. And then pushing on back and finding your down dog. Feeling free to hold down dog or adding the moving plank to generate more tapas or heat. We can inhale forward to plank. On the exhale, navel to spine, lifting hips high. 2 more times like this. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. This last one will invite you to hold. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. 1 more half breath. Breath in. And on that next exhale, lifting hips high and holding for another breath or so. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation B, flow style. Inhaling into a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again, and grounding on down, and making your way back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the 3-legged dog. High in the left toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through. Landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead for our warrior 1. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. You can take your time, follow your flow, find your breath. Other options in down dog might be sneaking in a quick child's pose, maybe all fours, always finding a balance between your effort and your ease. Whatever position you've chosen, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in your legs. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. Yeah. And then let's do one more B. Let's throw a hip opener into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as we arc. We're arcing right now. So you're going to arc the spine, hands cap the knees. I'll remind you. There you go. Now you're going to fold again, rounding the spine, hands catch the shins. And then grounding on down. And back to down dog, as you will. Yeah, take your time. Awesome. So we're going to add that hip opener to our three-legged dog. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Now keeping that right shoulder grounded as best you can, twisting from the torso as we stack the hips, lifted leg straight. And now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip any amount. Pitching the knee a little bit higher. And then sweeping that right foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. Second side. When you're ready. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder grounded as best you can. Lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then before you bring the foot forward, maybe pitching that knee just a little bit higher. And then sweeping that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down. Finding your warrior one. Arms out to the side. And then overhead. And then riding your next exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or maybe making another choice instead. Always balancing your effort with your ease. Always breathing, watching your breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, finding your chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to your heart. Coming back to that internal focus. Soft shoulders, long through all sides of the neck, with a soft tuck of the chin. Watching as your breath flows in. And watching as your breath flows out. As we hold this another breath, I'll invite you to soften your belly, both on the inhale and on the exhale as we find our belly breath. And let's work with that fire breath one more time as we lift the chin tall through the crown. If your feet aren't hip width apart, either stepping or jumping them hip width apart. Inhaling the arms up to one side. On the exhale, short, sharp exhalation out through the nose as we pass the hands through center. Maybe give those wrists a flick. We're halfway done. A couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. Excuse me. And either stepping or jumping your feet on it. A standing pose sequence. We'll start with our chair. Inhaling, knees over toes, hands overhead. Thank you for going sideways. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Arcing the back. Yeah, really arc that back. On the exhale, rounding the spine as you fold. And then grounding on down, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. You don't have to do all the push-ups. Some people like to do extra push-ups.
Not me.
Me neither. I don't like to do any push-ups. My shoulder hurts.
Don't do them.
That's a go. So we're going to do that same hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you're at your max length, you stay right there. Otherwise, I tend to go short, shifting way down to the front foot, and you'll scoot the back foot back. It looks like you're already pretty long there. With your hands on your hips, or with our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front, back hip front, front hip back. 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb. We can stretch out our wrists to try to touch the front of our wrists. And then I'll invite you to circle those wrists, starting small, and then letting the elbows play, letting the shoulders play. Dialing it back in as we start to move back towards small. Starting small, taking it the other way. And then letting the elbows play, letting the shoulders play. And then bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring our heart front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. And then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here, pulling silk threads, we don't want to rip the threads, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling, cactus arms. Let's do that 6 times, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. Step in front of the camera. Elbows move back. The hands come with. Rippling those fingers. Keeping our hands supple. From here, I'll invite you to move towards a Warrior 3 balance challenge. Hands find the hips. We spin the back heel up. Either one big step or a series of steps in. And then starting to balance on that right foot as the left foot gets light. This could be your Warrior 3 working close to the floor. You can always come back to this place. Otherwise, challenging your balance as you pitch the body forward. Working arm variations. We can stretch hands towards the back wall. Shoulders stretch away from the ears. Now stretching arms wide to the side, wide across the front of the heart. And then sweeping the hands in front and then looking through the hands as if you're holding a large glass ball. Hands in front, come back to the heart, regaining our center. Heart hands become hip hands. Taking a big step back as we come back to our Warrior 1 prep. And do you want to switch directions on the mat? You don't have to. You're going to turn Warrior 1 hips into Warrior 2 hips.
2 bites, look at those lights.
Okay, so steering your hips sideways. Then I can see your lovely face, so that's okay. You'll see your lovely back. And then one long arm as we find our Warrior 2. Looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. Painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. And again, you might think about pulling the silk thread. We don't want to rip the thread. Exhaling back to our Warrior 2. 6 times. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, Warrior 2. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. We're halfway done. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in and holding. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath. And then I'll invite you to spread those fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. Turning reverse warrior back into Warrior 2. From here, I'll invite you to find a rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back, and you might use a strap, a towel, whatever it takes to open up those shoulders. Shoulder blades back and down.
You grab your shirt, right?
You could grab your shirt. Sure, as long as you don't want to rip your shirt. But most shirts are strong enough, except some of the old ones in my closet. From here, I'll invite you to take a deep forward fold inside the front leg. Take your time. You might use the thigh to part the torso, or you could let the torso hang free. Wherever you choose to work, if you choose to forward fold, I'll invite you to do a little neck check, a little rock, a little swing, a little sway. So releasing and relaxing any tension in the neck and shoulders, and then letting that tension drain down towards the floor. One other cue is I'll invite you to imagine your shoulders are 2 big chunks of molasses, and those big chunks are sliding off of the ribs and down towards the floor. In our Rainbow Warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin, and then bringing it on up as we come back to our Warrior 2, one long arm. From here, moving towards our triangle, thumb and forefinger, find crease of hip and base of rib. We can deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. And then either grounding the thumb in line with the shin bone or finding brick or bricks outside the calf. And if you use the bricks, I want a little bit of physical connection here. And then you want to adjust that, make sure you're solid and stable. From this place, we can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high to the sky. As we hold the triangle with every breath in, gathering energy in your center of balance. So we've got front navel, 3 fingers below front navel. We've got side navel, we've got back navel. So it's a big ball of energy, 3-dimensional. Just breathing into that place. And as you breathe out from that strong and steady center, finding more extension through the arms, the legs, and both ends of the spine. Connecting with the pulsation of the breath as you make yourself bigger in space from the inside out. From here, let's move towards a second balance challenge, the half moon. Top hand finds the hip, softening the front knee. Either one big step or a series of steps in. Right hand off to the right. Take your time here, find your frame. You don't necessarily have to do this at home. Then you're going to balance on that right foot. This time, the orientation of the hips is sideways as opposed to down. It's a little tricky on this rug. Moving towards extension, we can use the top hand to rotate those ribs, opening up shoulder, and then maybe stretching hand high to the sky. Choosing a place to look that works for your breath and balance, either down, very grounding, off to the side or up to the sky. And again, breathing into your center and from your center, finding more extension in the shape, more expansion. So we'll come down easily, top hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance, no big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet as we bring hands to hips. And then finding length in the shape. The safest way to do that is to shift weight onto the front foot for the purposes of the frame. Kathy does some other stuff here. And then back to our warrior two. Awesome. From our warrior two, let's sneak in another standing pose. As we ground front forearm on top of the thigh, we're moving towards extended side angle. Another choice would be to bring that hand down outside the foot, and you might use a brick to raise the floor. 3 steps on the top arm, we can just let it hang down to the ground, releasing and relaxing that shoulder. Now finding more extension as we stretch it away. Yes, you want to go towards the Christmas tree first. Keeping that sense of space in the shoulder, you're going to sweep it front. Nice. Now with your breath, I want you to circle that hand back as you trace it with your eyes. Exhaling, letting it soften. 2 more times like this, breathing into extension. Exhaling, finding flexion. 1 more time here, breathing into extension. Exhaling, finding flexion. Inhaling into extension. Now we'll take that circle the other way. Exhaling, finding flexion. Inhaling into extension. A couple more times. Exhale. And inhale. Awesome. 1 more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then I'll invite you either to hang out here, or we'll move towards a half moon with a possibility of catching the back foot. Top hand finds the hip. Big step in. Setting your base, finding your frame. Lifting back leg. And then maybe catching the foot. And then kicking the foot into the hand as you deepen back heart. Either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. And I'm spotting you here, so if you want to take it a little bit bigger, I'll catch you. Awesome. Those of you that have caught the back foot will carefully release the leg as we land a short stance. Shifting the weight into the feet, no big deal. Finding our warrior two as we go longer in our stance. From our warrior two, I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as you make your way back to down dog, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Welcome, Rich. Welcome, Renee. Hello, Dad. How you doing?
Hello, Papa.
Papa's in the house. As we hold our down dog, I'll invite you to come back to that Samarvriti, that even breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. And bringing your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as that Ujjayi breath flows in and out. So let's keep our heat up. It's a little chilly here in San Francisco. We're in the 40s. Oh my God. But we have a nice sunny room here, but let's keep that heat up, and we'll do that moving plank pose again before we do our second side. Inhaling forward to plank. On the exhale, drawing it back to down dog. Couple more times, inhaling forward. Exhaling, doing it, take your time here. Inhaling forward, now we're gonna hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. One more half breath. Exhale. Inhale. And on that next exhale, lifting hips high as we come back to our down dog. And I messed it up a little bit, but it's all
That's
good.
okay.
It's all good.
Doesn't seem like a mess up to me.
All right. And that's why that's the beauty of not admitting your mess ups. Most people don't even notice. All right. So we're going to start with that same hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg, God bless you. Left leg high to the sky.
Thank you.
High on the right toes as we stretch our Achilles tendon and calf. Keeping left shoulder just as it is, as best you can. Twisting from the torso as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. Before we bring the foot forward, I'll invite you to pitch it a little bit higher. And then sweeping that left foot through, finding your warrior one. Arms out to the side and then overhead. If you're at your max, you'll stay right where you are. But I'll invite everyone to bring hands to hips and just figure out if you can go a little bit longer. If you can, do it. If not, you stay right here. With our hands on our hips, we steer the back hip front, front hip back. 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb as we stretch out our wrists. This time, I'll invite you to start to trace small figure eights. And then letting those figure eights get bigger, letting the shoulders, letting the elbows play. Dialing it in as we go small again. And this is a little tricky, taking those figure eights the other way. It's a mind thing. Starting small, and then letting it get bigger. Yeah, you can even get bigger. You might like to really lift those. Yeah, there you go. Let the shoulders play. There you go. Nice. And then taking those bigger figure eights onto your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders and squaring your heart front. Nice. Switching the clasp of the fingers behind the head. Pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that sense of space in heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to rip the thread, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling. Exhaling, cactus arms. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with, and I'll invite you to ripple your fingers as we keep our hands supple. And even if you're sitting at a desk watching this, you could also ripple your own fingers. Nice. From here, moving towards our Warrior 3 balance challenge. Hands find the hips. We spin the back heel up. Either one big step or a series of smaller steps as you come on in. And you might adjust yourself for the frame if you're on camera. I think you're the only one on camera, so.
As far as we know.
And then we're starting to balance on that left foot. Any amount. You could stay low. You can always come back to the ground. Working arm variations as we stretch hands back. The shoulders stretch away from the ears. Nice. Now finding airplane wings out to the side is one of my favorite versions. And then the tough version is to sweep those hands front and then lifting the face to look through those hands as you challenge your proprioception, your balance. Beautiful. From hands in front, we can bring hands to heart, regaining our center. And then hands find the hips as we take a big step back or adjusting ourselves in the frame. Coming back to Warrior 1 hips. From Warrior 1 hips, we use our hands to turn them into Warrior 2 hips. Now we're going to see Kathy's face. So beautiful in the mornings and every other time of day. As we find our Warrior 2 hips, and then one long arm. Looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. Nice. From here, painting rainbows. Again, we don't want to rip the silk threads. Inhaling. And exhaling, Warrior 2. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. We've got 3 more to go. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last one here. We're going to hold. Breathing in. And holding your reverse warrior. Reaching up higher. Reaching down further. Finding more space between each rib with every breath. And spreading those fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. And breathing into that space. Turning the reverse warrior back into warrior 2. Now finding your rainbow warrior, switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially as we open up heart and throat chakra. Yeah, so lift up the chin, beautiful, very expansive, very jubilant. And we want to keep that sense of jubilancy as we take a forward fold inside the front leg. You might use the thigh to support the torso or letting the torso hang free. Those of us in the forward fold, I'll suggest a little neck check, just a little rock, a little swing, a little sway. And then letting that neck relax, letting the head heavy down towards the floor. And then imagine as if your shoulders are 2 big chunks of molasses and they're sliding off of the ribs down towards the floor. We get a nice subtle stretch or maybe not so subtle stretch in our upper back.
And your left hip.
And left it, yeah. Yeah, feel free to add a little movement too. I'm trying to open a stubborn lock. You want to give that key a little wiggle. From here, a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Take your time. And then coming back to our warrior 2, one long arm. From here, transitioning to triangle. I'm going to try not to come in front of the camera. As we bring thumb and forefinger to crease of hip and base of rib, we're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. And we can ground our bottom hand down on the shin. Also just thumb in line with the shin bone to open up that bottom shoulder. Or if you have bricks close by or a yoga elf, you can find bricks outside the shin. Is that stable? If you do use the bricks, a little physical connection between the brick and the outside of the shin. From here, we can use that top hand to good effect as we rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high. As we hold the triangle, breathing into your center of balance. As we breathe in, the diaphragm moves down towards the navel as we draw air into our lungs. As we breathe out, the diaphragm relaxes and domes up to the heart as the air moves out of our lungs on that impetus, finding more amplitude in the shape from your center, connecting yourself to the periphery of the room, connecting to the pulsation of the breath. Awesome. Are you ready for that second balance challenge?
I am.
All right, so taking your time, top hand finds the hip. Either one big step or a series of steps in. You might adjust yourself in the frame if you're on camera. We're going to set our base, left hand off to the left, and I find a wider base tends to be more stable than a narrower base, so a big box down there. One corner is the foot, the other corner is the brick, and there's an invisible corner and an invisible corner. Lifting that back leg any amount. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs. If you have your balance, feel free to adjust. Awesome, beautiful, that's a great adjustment. I love to work a little higher than too low. So you can rotate those ribs, open up that shoulder, stretching hand high, and then choosing a place to look. Down to the ground, very grounding. Off to the side, or maybe spinning the face to look up to the sky. Awesome, beautiful. And again, breathing into your center. It's a big ball of center here. It's not just the front center, it's side center, back center. Coming down with grace and control, hand finds the hip as we take a short stance, and then hands find the hips as we come back to our warrior 2. So the safest way to do that, shifting weight onto the front foot. As you take a step back for the purposes of the frame, Kathy may do something different. So we'll find our warrior 2. Moving towards our extended side angle, either grounding the forearm on top of the thigh, the palm faces up, back hand finds the hip. Or you might bring your hand down outside to a brick or bricks. 3 steps on the top arm. I'm going to let it just hang down to the ground, releasing and relaxing that shoulder. And just let it go. Now we're going to find more space in the shoulder as we stretch it away. So it's perpendicular to our body. You want to have that bottom hand facing up. If you can, yeah. It's like you're holding a tray of Christmas treats. Keeping the shoulders spacious, we're going to sweep it front. Beautiful. Long through that back leg, the torso, the arm, the fingers. And then we're going to work with that top shoulder as we circle it back, tracing it with our eyes. Also warming up our upper back. Exhaling, letting it soften. A couple more times this way. Breathing into extension. Exhaling into flexion. You can do this at home, whether you're in warrior 2 legs or not. Just circling that top arm, warming up that shoulder. Last one. And then we'll take it the other way. And when you're ready, if you do an extra one, no big deal. letting it dip, and then inhaling into extension. Letting it dip as you soften. Inhaling into extension as you stretch. Last one. Exhaling. And inhaling. And then hanging out here again. I want that bottom hand to stay super, super active. Yeah, all parts of the body engaged. Nice, beautiful. And now we're going to move towards Ardha Chandra Chapasana, the possibility of catching the back foot in your half moon. Top hand finds the hip. Big step in. Setting your base. Make sure you're solid and stable. Beautiful. I love the extra height. And then bending that leg to catch the foot. And then kicking the foot into the hand. Again, I'll spot you here. So if you want to go a little bit bigger, I'll keep you from taking out the Christmas tree. There you go. Beautiful. And either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. Awesome, Kathy. From a bound back leg, we can release the leg and land a short stance. No big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet. And then finding the length of your stance as you come back to your warrior two. And from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as you stretch out your shoulders, finding your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. You can take your time, find your flow. Awesome. And again, wherever you choose to work, finding that Samarviti, that same breath, long, smooth breaths in. Long, easeful, equally smooth breaths out. From our down dog shape, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching as we fold. Inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera again. Hands find the heart. This time let's add an isometric engagement. So we press those palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. 50 minutes goes quickly, but I want to get one more breath exercise in here, working with our fire breath. As we inhale, arms out to each side. On the exhale, passing hands through center, bending the knees, giving those wrists a flick. And then switching across. A couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up and either stepping or jumping it up. Thin like a pin. Now we're going to jump it out wide like a house. Hands find the hips. We're going to angle the toes out. Let's rock it into our half squat, our goddess squat here. The rugby team calls it the sumo squat. It's going to be a half squat here. Elbows find the inner thighs, hands find the heart. Keep rocking your squat from side to side. It's getting into those hips.
Oops.
It's okay. We lost one Christmas ornament. We're batting 1 for 1,000 here. Or 1,000 for 1. And then from your squat, I'll invite you to ground down through the hands as you straighten the legs and make the feet parallel for a wide-angled forward fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching as we round the spine. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to rock your body weight front to back to front, waking up the back of your legs, stretching out your hips, stretching out your low back. I'll cue left and right here. It doesn't really matter. We're going to do both sides. Walking hands to one side. Left hand outside left foot. Right hand catches the outside of the shin. 2 straight legs as we look under the armpit. Now bending that right leg deeply. Straightening right leg, bending left leg deeply. 2 straight legs, releasing left shin, walking the hands through center. Now right hand outside, right foot, left hand catches the outside of the shin. 2 straight legs as we look under that armpit. Bending that left leg deeply. Straightening left leg, bending right leg deeply. 2 straight legs, walking the hands center, coming up the safe way as we bring hands to hips, finding our neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. And then keeping neutral spine, leading with the back of the heart as we hinge on up. And if you need to go narrower, go narrower. Otherwise, a big jump into center. Hopefully I'll wake up our neighbor downstairs on that one. Luckily, her bedroom's in back. From here, let's bring hands to heart. This time finding a clasp of the fingers, keeping the heels of the hands together as we try to pull those hands apart. Shoulders engaged, a tuck of the chin, a tuck of the tail, connecting with the strength of our center. And then hands by our side. I'll ask you to go sideways. One more sun sal here. Sun sal B, inhaling into our chair. Or sun sal D, E, F, I'm not sure where we are. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching, and one more time today, back to down dog, as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Okay, take your time, find your flow. From down dog, I'll invite you to land the knees lightly as we move back towards a child's pose, arms in extension, nestling our belly in towards our thighs. As we hold the child's pose, I'll invite you to gently rock your hips from side to side. Nice. That should feel pretty good, I think. Stretching out your hips, stretching out your low back. Yeah. I tend to work palms down. Kathy loves to spin her palms up, so feel free to do that. Maybe just seeing how palms down feels, seeing how palms up feels. Giving your shoulders, giving your hips, giving your back the love that they deserve. They work so hard for us all day long. And then I'll invite you to walk your hands back as you bring your feet off to one side. And then a long, slow roll down onto your back as you find your Shavasana. We won't be here too long. So either working with or without support, starting from tall spine, tucking tail and chin as we find our C-spine. There's some stuff behind you. Be careful. When you get all the way down, I'll suggest a full body stretch, arms by the ears, not too low. Want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. Low back's going to lift. Keeping that sense of space in the low back as you bring your hands by your side. Widening your thighs as we hold the shape. This is our Shavasana. This is our final relaxation shape. Initially focused on the breath. But as we hold the shape, even letting that focus soften, as we bring our senses inside, Pratyahara. Now I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll bring them on camera. At home, of course, feeling free to hold your Shavasana as long as you'd like. Welcome, Mary. Welcome, Drea. I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, varying that ratio between the inhale and the exhale as you find a long, smooth breath in, followed by an even longer, smoother, slower breath out. So finding a more relaxing breath with longer, slower exhalations. Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more prana, more vitality into your body as you gently ripple your fingers and toes. Inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles a couple times each way, whatever feels right and good. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips. Connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. We've got a visitor. Hello, Tazzy. From here, I'll suggest pressing your back strongly into the mat to support the action of the legs as you draw one knee in and then the other. Hands cap the knees. Sorry, Tazzy. You're gonna lose your nest. Hands cap the knees, using your thighs to massage your low belly, front to back, side to side, little circles. Hello, Tazzy.
Aw, she gets on that.
Aw. And then I'll invite you to reach back with a hand to lift and tuck your chin. Keeping the chin tucked. Hands come back to the shins or catch the back of the thighs. You're going to start to rock yourself front to back to front, massaging your back. And then popping up and finding a cross-legged sit. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin. 5 fingers of one hand find the ground. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bowing, thanking yourself for practicing yoga and offering our practice, your practice, out to each other and to the world. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody at home, for practicing
Thank you
with
all.
us. And as
Happy
always,
holidays.
happy holidays and
We wanna bring our
namaste.
little friend here.
Oh, we get a special guest.
Watching our friend's dog, Tazzy. She's a very sweet little yoga dog.
All right. And as always, namaste sounds just like have a nice day.
Have a nice
So
day.
have a nice day, everyone.
Namaste.
We'll see you next
Happy
time.
New Year.
Happy New Year.